Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today we'll be talking about why people hated Revival. I will go through a quick summary leading up to the album's release, the songs, what are related to, the positives of the album, and why it flopped, and then finally I will give my opinion of the overall album / why people hated it. So let's get into it. The Revival album was highly anticipated because Eminem hadn't dropped an album since 2013's Marshall Mathers LP2. This album won the rapper 2 Grammy Awards, whereas Revival won no awards. Also, the 4 years away created plenty of suspense for Eminem's large fan base. And in late 2016, Eminem dropped a freestyle called Campaign Speech. It created even more hype around a brand new album from the rapper. Now I'm going to go through some of the songs and the meanings behind them. So to begin with, Frame and Offended have more of a 2009 relapse feel, with the accents obviously on Frame, a follow-up from 3am. Like Home follows his insane anti-Trump freestyle from the BET Awards in the middle of that year. Untouchable goes on about a white police officer in a black neighbourhood, and the second part is a poor resident of a black neighbourhood. River, Tragic Endings, and Need Me are about broken relationships, and obviously River is probably the best song on the album because it features Ed Sheeran. In Your Head is an apology to his daughter for forcing her to grow up in the spotlight. Castle is letters to his daughter before she was born and before he nearly died in 2009 of an overdose. And A Rose is where he would have died from the overdose and basically saying sorry to everyone for what he's done. And then he comes back to life. And finally, for this section, Walk on Water is Eminem trying to live up to everyone's expectations and trying not to fall off, which apparently he did in this album. Next, we move on to the positives of Revival. For me, there are two main positives that people hating on Revival should take from this album. The first positive is that without this album, we wouldn't have the latest album, Kamikaze, which is absolutely amazing, and I enjoy all the songs on that album. And finally, we wouldn't have an Eminem and Ed Sheeran collaboration. So for me, those are the two main positives from this album, and they are great positives in my opinion. And now on to reason why Revival flopped. Eminem's anti-Trump freestyle at that year's BET Awards put Eminem in a bad light to a lot of people in the media and in the public, especially when he said he drew a line in the sand you either for or against, and if they can't decide, then go fuck yourself, basically. Revival is Eminem's only overtly political album. The last political song that I know of was he made on Encore called Mosh. The fourth song on the album, Untouchable, is the first political song. Now I know I touched on this song a bit before, but here I'm going to explain it a bit more. Basically, Eminem attempts to call out white privilege and anti-blackness in current day America. The first half of the song, he raps from the perspective of a racist white police officer patrolling black neighbourhoods, and the second half is from the perspective of a resident of the poor black neighbourhood and what it's like having to grow up there. People call this embarrassing, but to me it's not. This is a big star showing how bad America is, and it's showing the perspective of a black man and a white man. Eminem still remains one of the most accomplished rappers of his generation, and there's no way people can argue that, even if they did think this album was a bit rubbish. But people are calling it a messy, exhausting misfire, and his taste in beats and subjects letting down. But I thought the album was quite decent. It focuses on stuff people don't talk about. Overall, the main reason why Revival flopped was because there was too much hype and the majority of songs were politically based, which people didn't really want to hear from him. So finally, my opinion. This is just my opinion of the album, really, and at first I thought it was decent, well, an average album. I thought some of the songs were good. Over time, it just stuck to me. I get why people didn't like it, but it shouldn't have done as bad as it did. I think that if this album wasn't really politically based in his opinions as Marshall Mathers the person, then this album probably would have done a lot better. But it still did good though. That's what I don't get. People are hating on it, and it still sold a load of copies and got downloads. So I can't really see what people called it flopped. Maybe I'm just a massive Eminem fanboy, which is fair, but I don't get what are people saying it flopped. Like, I get there is going to be bad albums like Encore and Relapse. I don't see this as bad, but for people saying it bad, at least we got Kamikaze after it, so look on the bright side. So that's basically my opinion of why Revival flopped. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Keep checking around the channel. I'm going to hopefully do a new series soon, and the first one will involve Eminem. Just keep an eye out for that. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Peace.